Everyone, I am Charles Maddox, and welcome to the Urban Longevity Podcast. It's the Urban Longevity Podcast. We're getting deep, man. Yeah. I'm excited about this one. Can you believe I have never done a live? A ton of people know who I am, and for whatever reason, I find myself kind of being I don't know if it's as public as I am. I kind of feel like I'm a little shy, and kind of always want to play the background. But 2025, I said I'm coming out. Like Donna Summer, I'm coming out, and I'm gonna get my voice out there in more of an advocate way as far as reaching the people and really being there to support the cause, because I think that maybe I do a disservice by not being as vocal as I should, to really spread the word, because I got a lot to say, I really do. And so I'm excited. Urban Longevity is a new podcast I created and a movement, to really be able to reach people of around the world, of all races, creeds, colors, people who are looking for better quality health, looking for answers, but maybe I would say who aren't familiar with certain things, whether it's nutrition, whether it's conditions, whether it's experts and doctors. So I'm really excited about this one. This particular subject we're talking today, and this is my first one too, is with a young lady who I met a few months ago, and as some of you know, I'm directing part two of an award-winning documentary that I made called Trial by Fire, based on a rare condition called CRPS that my mother actually suffers from, and it's a terrible condition. And I've made some great friends around the world with this condition, and it's called the suicide disease because they say it won't kill you per se, but it'll make you wish you were dead. And I've seen my mom's life transform overnight with this condition, and it's really sad. And got a young lady on now who is I can't wait to have her on, because she has a story that when I met her, I want to say she was in bad shape, and I've met a few people where I say they were in bad shape. Everything from emotionally to physically, and uh, she had a special place in my heart, and she still does. Her and her beautiful husband, and family, and but want to share her story. So, welcome to the stage, young lady.
Thank you for having me, Charles.
Man, look at that glow. Look at that glow. I love it. I love it. I love it. So tell us a little bit about how you got CRPS, and a little bit about your story.
Yeah, I got CRPS almost a decade ago, almost 10 years ago. I had an injury to both wrists, and I developed carpal tunnel and had surgery and developed CRPS after that. My CRPS spread full body pretty fast, but I managed it pretty well for quite a long time. I had babies during CRPS and everything, but then about oh, about the beginning of this year, things started to get really bad for me, and I ended up in an electric wheelchair and not able to walk more than a few steps, and I was basically bedbound. And that's when I met Charles, and I was in a really bad
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
And Charles was really you were really there for me at that point.
Nah, I meet a lot of people, and I think you kind of stuck out, because of your passion. And I'm glad that we were able to connect, and I know, we were looking at doing some treatment for you out there in Italy, but that didn't pan out, and I think maybe it didn't pan out for the best. Now you've been dealing with explain the pain that you've been going through, because this has, while we're talking right now, you look fantastic, but not too long ago, you were really in a bad place, from the pain to mental health issues to panic attacks, I want to say, and things of that nature. Tell us the gamut of what you were dealing with over the last few months.
Um, the pain from CRPS is really quite indescribable. They say it's some of the worst pain in the world, and worse than childbirth, worse than amputation. And I hate talking about it this way, but when Charles is right, it is known as the suicide disease, because the pain is just more than most people could ever wrap their head around. And to go along with that, a lot of the medications that you get given make things a lot worse, too, with the mental health aspect, and the panic attacks. And it was, I'm lucky in the fact I have my babies in the next room. Otherwise, I don't think I would still be here, because my babies have been what have been pushing me along this whole time. But it got to the point where I realized I had to take my health into my own hands, and I started a fundraiser.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what really almost destroyed things for me, because really everyone's known I've had CRPS, but nobody knows what CRPS is.
Yeah.
And once it got to the point that I was bedbound and in an electric wheelchair, and telling people all about it, people still didn't believe me, because it looked fine. And that's what a lot of people with CRPS get. You look fine, so it can't be that bad. But when you're in that level of pain, you can't just roll around on the ground all day crying. It's really quite a mind game. But I've always really tried to take the positive spin on it, and I've really tried not to frame it in the ways that it's framed a lot of the time. But as soon as I came out with my fundraiser, and then I was in the paper in New Zealand and on radio shows, and everyone knew me as this certain thing, and that was really, really difficult. I lost a lot of family members, a lot of friends, because they just don't understand the mental health side of it.
Yeah.
And even I've had moments with Charles, because when you're in that fight or flight mode,
Yeah,
you
I'm like, what did I do? You know what I mean? I'm
yeah.
like, I didn't do anything,
Yeah, and
but
and you would have experienced quite a lot of that with
yeah,
work,
yeah,
advocating for people with CRPS, and that's a really hard thing, because all of that stuff, it's not us, it's the CRPS, it's the changes that it's making in our brain. It's it
yeah,
actually causes inflammation in your brain, and you just, when you're in that state, just
yeah.
not a lot you can
So,
do.
so let's go back to as well. So when you were diagnosed,
Mhm.
um, did you get a lot of pushback? Did people, I mean, what was the process of getting diagnosed? I mean, was it, I mean, most people who are, eventually diagnosed with CRPS, it's actually takes some time. I've heard upwards of a year or two before they were diagnosed. What was that process like?
It was a long and traumatizing process, for me, that's for sure. It took a good 2 years to be formally diagnosed with CRPS, but I was diagnosed with RSD, reflex sympathetic dystrophy, which is just the old name for it. But it took a long time, but I had suspicions that that's what it was a
Yeah,
long time before my doctors, because you know your body, and uh, I knew something wasn't right from the beginning, and my surgeon told me that it could be CRPS. But to get that formal diagnosis took a long time, and then there was a lot of pushback to get any kind of treatment for it. In New Zealand, the options are a lot different than in America.
yeah,
We don't really have access to ketamine or anything like that, so it's literally just physio. And I was lucky that I had a really, really great physio who knew a lot about neuroscience, and he taught me a lot of that, and that's how I kind of got through
yeah.
um, a lot of it.
What,
Is
what was your first thoughts actually when you did some research on CRPS?
um, That's a horrific thing. The first things that you see when you research CRPS is that it's the suicide disease, that it's the worst pain in the world. And you go to see the doctors and they have no idea what to do. They basically tell you that you just need to learn to live with the pain, and this is going to be the rest of your life, and there's no treatment options available. I even, I tried to get involved in some of the New Zealand CRPS support groups, and even they're telling me there's no treatment options available. Everyone just tells you that there's no hope right from the very beginning. And I just think it's so wrong. Like, your doctors are telling you this, that there's no hope. Um, so it's, and then the first thing that I actually saw about CRPS was actually your documentary, Charles, the first trial by fire. And so for many, many years, that's all I really had to go off on what CRPS is, or because I was being told that there's no one else like me, that this doesn't happen to anyone, that you're crazy. So
did you start at that point to maybe reach out to the community, try to find other people who were living with CRPS to kind of, get a better understanding of what was going on and what treatment options were available?
I went the opposite at that point. I tried to get as far away from CRPS and my diagnosis as I could. My physio and my psychologist at the time told me that the best thing I could do was to get as far away from ACC, the workers' comp here in New Zealand, and just to try and live my life as normal, knowing what I knew. I could manage it pretty well at that point. I'd gotten off all of the meds as well. So that's what I did. I just tried to ignore it basically for years, and that worked for a long time, because for a lot of that time I was pregnant or breastfeeding, and I don't know if you know, but there's a lot of new research coming out now about CRPS, about those hormones being really beneficial, and lots of people even go into remission after having babies. So it wasn't kind of until I stopped breastfeeding my second child and things started going downhill. And some of those long-term things that can show up with CRPS, like osteoporosis and POTS and things like that, all of that, those things started happening, and it was just a big downward spiral.
And how did it affect your relationships did you have the family support, or how was that?
No, I didn't have any of the family support, because they just didn't understand what it was, and I think they blamed a lot of it on mental health issues. My partner was amazing. He's actually had to run away right now because our babies need him. They need some fresh nappies. So he had to run away there. But he stopped work straight away to look after me, and but it was tragic. Like I couldn't spend more than 30 seconds with my children anymore. I couldn't pick them up. I couldn't give them a hug. I couldn't give them a kiss. It was months of me stuck in my bed and then banging at my door, basically, for their mum. So that's when I started the fundraiser, because I can't do this anymore. I was like, surely there's something out there. And I'm a big science research nerd, so anytime there's a new research document come out about CRPS, I'm all over it. So me and Charles have talked a lot about different treatment options around the world and trying to find the best place to go. And
Well, I'll give you credit, because you hung in there. You are a fighter, and I remember seeing some of your videos recently, when you were stuck trying to head to get treatment. And it was literally heartbreaking. I'm like, oh my goodness. I mean, it's not bad enough that she's dealing with this. Now she's got to deal with that. And so tell us about, like I said, we were talking about going to Italy together. I think that probably was, not a great idea in hindsight. That might have only given you probably some temporary relief. but not the holistic way and approach that you've kind of gone about it now. But I know you have a video. Can you show that video?
Yeah, yeah. I've got a couple of videos because what happened was I was on the way to America for my treatment,
Yeah.
and I ended up getting uplifted off the flight from Australia to LA, um, basically because they discriminated against my disability. Uh, it was horrific. But what they ended up doing was leaving me there, abandoning me there in Australia for 4 days while I had to go through all their hoops to get clearance to fly again. So yeah, there's a couple of videos I can show you.
And and what was that? Because what was the reason for that? I didn't understand.
Um, I didn't really understand either, to be honest. Like I had a little bit of a panic attack when I got to the seats because I was in a wheelchair, right? So they
Yeah.
were pushing me to the wheelchair in the seats, and I got there, and we had tried to explain to them how I needed extra leg room, how
Yeah.
what I needed to be able to make the flight, basically.
Yeah.
And we got to there, and it wasn't what I was expecting or what we had talked about.
Yeah.
And instead of talking to me about it, they got their security guards to come, three big men basically towering over me, and pushed me out of that aeroplane and put me behind a barrier and left me there. And I had my doctor on the phone. I had everything. They called the cops and the ambulance, they turned up pretty fast. But they were right up the hall, so I couldn't get to them because at this point I'm crawling around on the ground, trying
Yeah.
to put together my own wheelchair to try and
Mhm.
get up the hall to talk to these people because I know once I can talk to them, I'll be able to explain to them.
Yeah.
Um, so I had Josh on the phone at the time. I'm like, I'd never put together my wheelchair before. This is way beyond anything that I can physically
Yeah.
do, but I had to do it.
Yeah.
And I did it, and I got up there to the hall, got up the hall, and as soon as I started talking to them, they could see the situation straight away.
Okay.
And the ambulance officer said to me, "This is just another one of those cases where they don't understand your disability,
Yeah.
and they have discriminated against you because of it, and they haven't given you a chance to even explain."
Wow.
Um, the cops in the ambulance, they cleared me for flying then
Mm.
and there. The plane hadn't even left yet, but Qantas had their own rules that I had to be cleared by one of their doctors
Mm.
to fly. Um, and yeah, I think where it all went wrong, to be honest, is I tried to explain to them what CRPS was, and I told them
Yeah.
about it being the suicide disease, and
Yeah.
I think they heard those words, and it was
Yeah. What did at that point did you think, well, you had to think, maybe I'm not even going to make it to to get this treatment? Did that
Mhm.
had to run through your mind?
I was talking to or trying to talk to the lady who had taken me off one of the flight attendants who had taken me off the plane, and asking her, "Are you even going to let me leave this airport?"
Yeah.
And she wouldn't answer me. She wouldn't answer me back, and it was my biggest fear was I was going to end up in a hospital in Australia. And I know what they do from there. I've seen it happen with so many of my friends. They end up in hospital with CRPS for various reasons, and then they get pumped full of the drugs that I'm trying to stay away from.
Yeah.
And it makes the whole situation worse. But I was lucky that the ambulance officer was lovely and she stayed with me the whole time. But they still wouldn't let me leave. They wouldn't even let me leave on a flight back to New Zealand.
Mm.
So they put me up in a hotel for a night,
Mm.
about an hour and a half away from the airport by myself,
An hour and a half away.
knowing that I need a carer because I'm in an electric wheelchair. I can't do much for myself at this point. I could barely dress myself.
Yeah.
Um, but they left me there, didn't tell me anything, and then I get a call at 10 a.m. the next morning saying, "You need to check out." I'm like, "What do you mean I need to check out?"
Yeah.
I'd had nowhere to go. I didn't even remember what city I was in, to be honest. Um, so I had to check out of that hotel, and all I could do, I could see a McDonald's down the road, and I'm like, okay, there'll be Wi-Fi there. If I can get there in my electric wheelchair with all my suitcases, I can make plan.
Oh my
So that's when MacGyver kicks in, and the old Kiwi ingenuity, and found some ribbons and lace in my suitcases, and I tied my suitcases to my electric wheelchair, and
goodness.
I got down there to McDonald's eventually. Like, the suitcases fell off a few times.
Oh goodness.
A lovely man came running out of his car to rescue me one time and help me with the suitcases, but I got there, and luckily Josh's cousin actually lived in Brisbane where I was, so she came and got me.
Oh my goodness. All right. So yeah, let's have you play those videos. At least one or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're quite long, but I'll play the beginning of one of them. I'll just have to play it off the phone.
We're not in America. We're not in Boise. We didn't quite make it there. We didn't make it to America. They wouldn't let me leave Australia. They wouldn't let me get on the plane to LA.
So this is about a 15-minute video of me crying, basically. But because I don't know if you know about on flying, they have the whole sunflower lanyards and visible disability cards. So I had one of them there with the sunflower in the corner, and I had everything, to make sure that they knew what was going on. But that's the hotel they left at. Yeah, but this is me the next day when I MacGyver the suitcases.
Right now, situation. I'm stuck in Australia.
Oh, sorry. Don't know what happened.
All right. Take your time.
You want to hear people who was going to pick me up and come over even in days. They won't let me go home unless I have enough money for an Air New Zealand flight, because apparently Air New Zealand won't try and medical clearance me. But I don't have like $800 for Air New Zealand flight, so I'm stuck here in Australia. Any Aussie mates, and where the fuck am I even? Brisbane?
Excuse the swearing.
No, that's okay. So at this point, if you could maybe kind of fast forward to some of the more happier moments. But so let's you end up getting on the plane. You end up headed to what part of America did you go to?
I was heading to Boise, Idaho, so I
Boise.
had to go to LA through LA first.
Okay.
But then in LA, there was a whole nother set of issues with the disability assistance there, of course.
We'll skip. All right,
It's
been hell. It's been hell. Let's skip to
and
getting to Boise, right? Because I want to get to
the good parts,
the transformation, because sometimes you worry and wonder, with these places, is it really going to help? And I was worried about that too as well. I'm like, man, I'm praying, that you don't get there and you don't find any relief per se, because not everything works for everyone, So tell us about day one, the start of the treatment, how the treatment was going, and that moment where you said, this is working. This is working.
It was crazy. So I ended up going there with my friend Krista, who also has CRPS, and she's in remission from going to the same treatment. So so I had pretty high hopes about it, but still, and I'm a big research nerd, so I'd done research on all of the treatments, because it's a holistic treatment. So there's lots of different aspects to it, but I was still, like Charles, a little bit skeptical. And the amazing thing about holistic centered treatment is the doctor who set it up, she has had CRPS. So she really understands it from a different level. And that first day, like, the thing with this treatment is it's like back-to-back treatments during the day. So I did like EMDR and PMF, and I did microcurrent, and I did something that they call neurosage, which helps rewire your brain. I did some vagus nerve toning. I did work with bilateral music, so I did a bit of that, and also did some PMF with this device called a Sensate. So that all happened, and then I got to the end of the day, and my friend asked me, "So, Tash, where's your pain levels at?" And I'd walked in there that day on like 9, 10 level pain, like I was not doing good at all. And I just started crying. There's some videos of it basically. I'm just like 3, like 2, 3. This is after 1 day of treatment, and I just couldn't believe it.
Now, hold on. I know everybody wants to know. Just you don't have to give us all the details, but what is some of that treatment? I mean, it's amazing that yeah, and I'll say this. Part of the reason why I'm making this second documentary too, as well, is to really focus on the hope, the healing side, the hope side of because there are some people who are very passionate. There are some people who are doing some amazing things when it comes to helping people with not just CRPS but chronic pain, and so we want to focus on that. We want to literally go around the world and try to tell the story the best we can, and say, you know what, there is hope, and you know, and I think
I
what
think my name is the Angel of Hope.
there you go, and I think where my mom, because she probably was a little older, I think that she didn't try everything. She was kind of stuck in the ways, and didn't have that positive attitude about, listen, I'm gonna get on a plane, I'm gonna fight my way to get over here, I'm gonna tie a ribbon with suitcases and head to McDonald's type of thing. That's when you have that type of perseverance and fortitude. That's what, I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're trying to be a football star. If you have that type of perseverance, you're gonna get there. So what was some of this treatment?
Well, I just to interrupt with that, just talking about that, where that perseverance and stuff came from,
Yeah.
was really the support from other people in the CRPS community, is where that came from. And I'd done a lot of work before I went to this treatment on things like on mindfulness, on all of these other ways that I can try and help myself to get in the best possible mind frame to go there, because there is a lot of this treatment is about that kind of thing, because it's a holistic treatment. It's thinking about the whole body. So there's a lot of mindfulness and things like that come into play. So you really need to kind of have done some of that work yourself, I feel like, for the treatment to really work. But the treatment itself is very individualized depending on the person. It's not just CRPS that Dr. Tracy treats, but I think some of the main things for me that made the biggest difference was hypnosis and EMDR. Hypnosis was amazing.
Wow.
And you go home with home hypnosis sessions to do as well. So that's the thing about this treatment as well. You go home with this. This is a PMF device that you wear around your neck or anywhere on your body, really. So it does a whole lot of different things. You can have it on different settings to help change your brain waves, basically. So you can have it on settings to enhance mental capacity, or you can have it on settings just to help with pain or sleep or anxiety, or to get your brain in these. It's kind of like biohacking.
I love that. But all right. So hold on. Hypnosis are we talking? Boom, you're out.
No, it's not like what people think. Not at all. Not at all. Yeah,
all right,
no.
good. Because I'm like, man, I don't know if I believe in that, but so that did work for you. And but once again, I think that you went there ready. to be helped.
And you have to be open to all of the treatments, because lots of people
Yeah.
think like hypnosis, you're like, that sounds a bit scary.
Yeah.
But really all it is it's helping get your brain into that theta brainwave state where you're more susceptible to those suggestions. And then all she's doing is giving you positive affirmations basically during that time, and telling you how your body's safe. Because the main point of this treatment is to get your body out of fight or flight, and to really treat CRPS from the root cause, rather than just throwing medicines at it. And like I say, putting a plaster over a stab wound. It's really trying to get to the core of it. So the hypnosis and the EMDR, which also wasn't what I expected. Lots of people get very scared about that.
Wow.
I did EMDR with bilateral music.
Okay. What's EMDR? Explain that.
EMDR is they usually use it with rapid eye movement processing. So it's something that really helps with trauma and PTSD. And it's helping you work through a lot of those memories. But using something bilateral, either bilateral music, or they use buzzers, or they use lights. Depends on what your preference is, kind of thing. But it's it's all very interesting.
Now, can you fast forward on that phone to I saw you skipping around from wheelchair to skipping around.
I know.
Like, what is going on here?
So we took a few little videos of me coming out of treatment on some of the days. So should I play one of those ones? So here we are.
They are faster, actually.
So I'm just casually walking up some stairs. Look how happy I am about it.
Look at that. Look at that.
And doing things like, we got to walk through these Christmas lights.
I almost thought you were at a club for a second. I was going to say, girl, don't tell me you went out there and partied now.
I know. And I think this was my last day of treatment here. We're talking about my CRPS resort that I want to set up in New Zealand.
Look at you.
But I'm just
Look at you. Wow.
And where's my pain at?
This is.
I'm just walking backwards. I just want to have fun. Still haven't answered the question, where's my pain at? Because I'm scared to answer the question. Because my pain was at a 0 to 1.
I'll say this, and I mean it from the heart. I don't think there's anyone more deserving right now that I know than you to be in this situation, because you've got not only a loving partner, but some beautiful children, and you've got a fantastic soul. You're a wonderful human being, and I'm so happy for you. And just to be able to have this pain totally reduced for even a short period of time, and hopefully to last longer, because the tools, certain things, how to keep yourself and get yourself back where you need to be, is a real blessing. And I don't even know what to say. I think a lot of people, I fight really hard for people with CRPS. Well, I fight for all people, but CRPS means a lot to me because of my, what I've seen it do to my mother. But I've also met a lot of really, really great people in here, and sometimes, trust me, I wonder. I'm like, why do I keep doing this? Because trust me, I get beat up sometimes for no reason. And I'm like, what did I do? Only thing I'm trying to do over here is there's no money in this. There's no glory in this. There's no fame in this. This is
and
me.
I get it too. I get the hate every day. Every day I get the hate messages.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why? I'm just trying to be an advocate for the people. Yeah, I'm the last person to beat up on, So yeah.
But I think a lot of most people with CRPS are told from the very beginning there is no hope.
Yeah.
So then they talk to somebody like me or like you, and we're trying to tell you that there's another way. And these people are in fight or flight. So that's when situations happen. But I really, really wanted to take a different route. I used to call myself the CRPS warrior at NZ, and I got sick of calling myself a warrior because I don't want to fight anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm all about spreading the knowledge. I was trained to be a teacher, so that's what I want to do. I want to spread the knowledge and show people there's hope. So I started my website, what is it, hopeforcrps.com. Almost got my own website there. And there's not really anything on it yet, but that's my whole goal, is to show people that there is hope.
Yeah.
And there are things that can help.
And not to cut you off, but realize that you couldn't afford it, right? So there's a lot of people, number one, who are probably listening and they say, man, I can't afford that. Well, you couldn't afford it. You know what I'm saying? So there is a sacrifice that has to be made, at times, whether it's your last dollar or raising funds or however.
Selling your car, selling everything.
I mean, it's and not to make it sound like it's a simple process, but there are people that, and there are people that can help. There are products that can help. There are devices that can help. There are treatments that can help. Not every.
But there are a lot of things you can do yourself as well that don't cost money.
True.
But I'm sorry to cut you off as well.
No. So so anyone who is listening to this, realize that number one, she's got a great person that you could reach out to, and you can follow up. I'm going to post this on Facebook, and you can share your information or the doctor's information so that people can find out who that doctor was and try to get some relief from them. There's
There's free Zoom consults, which is really
yeah. There are people who use ketamine, and that works great for some people. There are people who use Calmare or other devices, pain stimulators, and the scrambler therapy works fantastic for certain people. So it is one of those things, because this pain definitely is nothing to play with, and you don't want to live with this.
I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, is what I always say. And we are so different that there are different treatment options that are going to help different people. So if ketamine is the thing that helps you, then that's awesome. But my whole goal is I really wanted to treat it at the source. And there's a lot of people who don't believe that remission from CRPS is possible either. And remission from CRPS means no CRPS pain. Which to be told that, a lot of people just don't even believe it. But
I know Chase is doing some great things too as well.
There are some amazing people doing some great things.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. So
we need to work together. That's been my thing.
But you know what? I'm going to say this. After this film, I think this film can give some hope, and I'm passing the buck to you and people like you, because it's time that someone else step up who has the condition, who has been able to fight through and come through the other side, and especially with what you were just dealing with. I mean, it was literally hell on earth. And if you can come through on this other side, you could share that same hope.
It's my life goal now, to help other people with CRPS. And I'm trained in business and finance. Like, I've got a meeting with the health minister in New Zealand here in the new year to look at setting up a treatment centre that is a charity-based treatment center, you know, so we can bring people here from around the world that can't afford it.
Yeah.
And help them. So that's my long-term goals.
Yeah.
For people out there as well that are thinking there's no way that I could ever make this work. You know, there is so many things, positive things on the horizon. Just need to hold in there.
Well, you look, I'm telling you, you look fantastic. I'm like, this is like a new you right now.
I feel like I've been reborn.
Wow.
I'm seeing everything different. Like I can see colors again. You don't realize how much that pain impacts every single part of your life until you get a break from it, and you're like, I've missed out on the last decade.
Yeah.
And I've never ever seen my children not in pain because I had CRPS when I had them. So
Yeah.
to spend time with them now, it's just, you know, I want to show other people that there's this, you know, there's this chance.
And how is the relationship? You know, I mean, because I know you guys were, you know, it's hard. You were dealing with so much and a lot of stress on the relationship, and you know, we shared, you know, one or two times, and how is everything with that?
Yeah, it's been amazing now to come home, and Josh feels like he's got a bit of the old Tash back, because I was lucky in the fact that we've been together for 16 years. So he knew me before this. So
Yeah,
he knew
he knew
what I was like, and he
Yeah.
knew it wasn't just me, it was the CRPS. But we had, you know, Charles knows, we had times
Yeah,
where all I wanted to do was run away because I felt like he didn't understand me.
yeah,
And just now to, I don't know, even just to be able to hug again
yeah.
and it not cause pain.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
hug my babies. I
Yeah,
can carry my daughter again. Like, it's the most beautiful thing.
yeah. And so what's next? How do you stay healthy and with at least as much reduced pain as possible? What's next?
So I have a 90-day program to follow at home now from my doctor, from Dr. Tracy. So I have to stick to my program, and then after that, I mean, I'm waiting a good 2 weeks of being at a 0 level pain just to be able to say I'm in remission. Because over the next 90 days, I imagine things are going to fluctuate. Healing's not linear. So once I get to that point, it's still going to be a lifelong thing.
Yeah,
Which is fine, because I've got the tools now to be able to maintain that on my own. And it's really about slowing down and living a different kind of life as well. As soon as you try and enter the rat race again, let's say, you're setting yourself up for all sorts of problems. You really have to learn to slow down and take a different kind of pace of life.
so you see, this is can you believe, seriously, I don't know if I'm not going to, I've been so stubborn with live. So this is my first live. So I even placed a question up there from somebody. Mama Babs says, I'm sorry, I meant her treatment plan. So maybe you can, Mama Babs, do you have CRPS? If so, let me know. That way we can get you a little bit more information. So
Yes. So the at-home program involves like using things like, there's a lot of focus on gratitude and positive affirmations and things like that. But then there's also the Sensate device, which is a device that plays bilateral music and vibrates and helps to tone your vagus nerve. And then there's a PMF, there's the at-home hypnosis. And basically it's 90 days because that's how long it takes for your cells to regenerate. So you're basically trying to rewire your brain within that 90 days to get out of that fight and flight or fight, you know.
yeah.
Things.
Okay. So she says she does have CRPS. So is it can you give her, what's the name of the place that she can look into?
Yeah, it's called Holistic Centered Treatment,
Oh,
and it's
Teresa.
in Boise, Idaho. Sorry. a holistic centered treatment in Boise, Idaho. And the doctor is Dr. Tracy Patterson. She does free Zoom consults, and like I said, she had CRPS. So she went all around the world, trying a lot of these different treatments that me and Charles have talked about, and didn't find any relief. And she was very against the holistic treatments at first, being a doctor, and she ended up developing this treatment that really works, and she helps a lot of things, not just CRPS. And she's, Mama Babs is saying she also has EDS. A lot of these things go together. I also have EDS, POTS, autism, all sorts of things. But a lot of these things go together, and she can help a lot of them.
Yeah, that's powerful. Hey, Teresa, how are you? Good to see you. So yeah, I love that, because this is what we're here to do. Like I said, I'm gonna pass the torch to you real soon, because I'm tired.
You're
Trust
tired.
me, people only knew how hard this really was. I mean, it's not easy. This is a 9 to 5, not even 9 to 5. I mean, sometimes I'm working all day and night till early in the morning, trying to put all of this together, and then traveling and getting on planes, and trying to find the partners to even make this a reality. And that's not easy at all, because the thing with CRPS is there's no money in this, right? Because there's not like there's a pharmaceutical drug and that people are making tens of millions of dollars. This is, even like Tracy, this is, probably a small clinic who is, doing the best that she can to keep the doors open too as well. So this is not, we're swimming in any glory over here. This is really a passion project for me, as I do other projects. So, well, so what can we expect as far as your next advocacy? What do you want to do? What do you want to give back? How do you want to touch the world with your advocacy?
My big thing is education. I want to help people to be able to be their own best advocates, and not have to rely so much on the doctors, because a lot of people can't even get doctors or specialists. So I really want to spread the information to help people to be able to help themselves, because there are so many things that you can do that don't require you going to treatment. But my other passion project is to actually set up this physical treatment centre in New Zealand, which I've already talked to Dr. Tracy about, and Warren works together to be a joint thing. But I want it to be a charity-based thing. I really want to be able to help people. And who wouldn't want to come to a resort here in beautiful New Zealand and spend a couple
look at you.
and,
Look
in
at
the bush.
Hey, Teresa. Yeah, no, I understand. Definitely, Teresa, I would look into this right here, because this might be a great option for you, Teresa. This might be a great option for you, So
Ketamine is great, and Dr. Hannah especially is great. But
Dr.
the
Hannah.
things that I've found out through my research is there's a lot of long-term effects on the body with ketamine that they're only just starting to realize now. And it helps, but it's a short-term thing. You have to go back. And the whole idea, like Dr. Tracy, she doesn't want to see you back there ever again, But she's also there for you for forever. I can call her up 2 years from now if I'm having a problem, and she'll still be there for me. So I think it's really about trying to find treatments that that are long lasting. And I'm happy to talk to you as well, Mama Babs.
What's a good email for you?
So I've got my website, so you can connect with me through there. So my best email is natasha@hopeforcrps.com.
Okay. No, you're right. I think that, ultimately, I think ultimately the best thing that long term, whatever you did there, if they could replicate that, long term is always going to be the best, you want people to be able to have, years of at least very low pain, if not remission, like you said. So, well, I'm excited about that, and I'll always I'm waiting for my invite. I've never been out that way, so I would love to come out there and maybe bring somebody out there who needs some treatment and come visit your facility. So you keep rocking, and thank you so much for taking the time and sharing your story and just being so open and brave, because I know you have shared. And you know yeah, whether it's the negative that comes or the positive that comes, and you realize that, whenever you try to do something, there's always going to be someone who's going to have something negative to say. And trust me, as a filmmaker and as a public person, at times, every now and then I'll hear some things or read something and I'm like, oof, it hurts, because
Where people tell it
yeah,
really hurts sometimes.
well, because we have so much passion. And, if we're trying to do something from the heart and with passion, and somebody, knocks us down, it really hurts, so don't, whatever negative that is coming your way, know that it's at times that, somebody might be in a bad place and they just,
It's about having compassion.
yeah, you just, wish them the best, and hopefully that that pain will pass, and you'll see that the real side of them. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, young lady, throw out your website again. Hold on, before we go, Teresa had one more question. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, how long I've had it. So I had it for almost 10 years, and I was full body as well.
Wow. Wow.
And I was full body for most of that time. And I was in an electric wheelchair. I could walk about 5 steps by
Wow.
myself. So yeah, it does work. This treatment,
Yeah.
if you've had it for a long time.
There is hope. There is
There is
hope.
hope.
There is hope.
There's always hope.
Yeah, that's the great thing right now, is that it was 10 years, and you would think after 10 years maybe it wouldn't work, but so if anybody listening to this who has had, CRPS for 1 month or 10 years, know that, this young lady went from one thing to the next. Let me get your boyfriend over there, your hubby, for a second.
Yes, Josh.
What's up, brother?
How you doing?
How are you, man? Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. I'm doing all right.
Are you super excited?
Oh man, that's like we've got our life back again.
Yeah. Charles asked me a question before, and you might be able to answer it. Like, what was it like when I came home? And I'm different. I'm in low pain. I don't know. What does it feel like?
It takes me back 10 years. Like, it takes me back
Yeah.
to when we were teenagers. Well, it's more than 10 years, but yeah, it's just it's very healing and very rejuvenating.
Yeah.
For our souls. You know what I mean? Like, this has been like, we forgot what it was like.
I've been in pain for so long. I forgot what it was like to not be in pain. So, I think it really shows a lot of other people that there is hope.
Yeah. And it's in the least expected places sometimes. It's like things that places people aren't even looking.
Yeah, I did not expect that. I would be ending up in Boise, Idaho, and that's
of all places, Boise, Idaho.
I know, right?
Well, you guys have a good night, and I'm gonna go be with the kids. And once again, I'm going to continue following your journey. I do want to talk to you about finding a camera person out that way, because I do want to get some footage out there. So I have to look into exactly where you're at and find someone I can get to come out there and spend a day with you guys and stuff like that. So let's keep rocking, let's keep pushing, and trying to change lives. And congratulations on all the amazing things that are here and coming for you guys and the family. So, all right, be blessed, man. All right, this is Urban Longevity, man. You know what? We're bringing some information that most people won't see and won't hear about it the way we're sharing it. So have a good night, guys.
You too, Charles. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Peace.
Much.
It's the Urban Longevity Podcast. We're getting deep, man. You know?